Hello, everyone. This is Floor to the People with Stefan Bertram. I'm joined by Quinn and by Kuba. And today we'll be discussing the recent War of the Five Kings, which has just started. What are your thoughts and feelings, guys?
I support the true king, Joffrey Baratheon.
I support
Obviously.
the legitimate king. I will not comment further.
Yeah.
No, today we are actually not going to be discussing the war at all. We are going to be talking about whether there is anything realistic in A Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, and what realism means in relationship to medievalism and so on, which are works portraying a world that is something like the medieval world. Have you been who watched Night of the Seven Kingdoms and who didn't?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. I watched all of it.
Cool. And did anyone read the book?
Yes.
Books, the novellas.
I didn't read the third one, but I read the first two.
I was completely on board with everything that happened until I saw Jon Snow's sword flop around when he got on that horse. My virginal immersion lost forever. I have no idea what this is referring to. Was there some visible dick shape for Jon when he was on a horse?
No, I think that it was a prop sword that like was obviously foam or something or rubber.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about the show.
I was being dirty-minded.
Everything past season 5 never happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
I keep hearing about events which happened in season 7 and 8, and I'm like, wow, crazy, bro.
It turns into fanfic after that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's fanfic written by people who don't care, and are clearly sick of what they're doing, which is always a recipe for success.
Senioritis, and they're already looking forward to their Disney gig, which it was such poetic justice when that was yanked, right? Like that's what you get for disrespecting the franchise.
We have discussed previously on episodes of this show and by myself or with at least Quinn, other attempts at kind of realism or something like realism in genre fiction and especially in fantasy, especially the psychological realism of Brandon Sanderson, which is basically his attempt to kind of show modern mental illness in the context of a fantasy series, as well as the idea of hard magic, which is not an attempt at realism, but I think it's something which is very related. It's an attempt to, by kind of solid, hard rules, get across to people a sort of solidness and reality to your work to make them feel it's plausible and believable, and for them to engage it kind of like you engage with a Wikipedia article. But there's also another distinct attempt at realism in fantasy, namely a sort of social realism, political economic realism, and in the much maligned and kind of taken out of context phrase that George Martin brings up, what is Aragon's tax policy and such. This is often associated with the grim dark genre and most clearly A Song of Ice and Fire. It's funny, like I think because I've read much worse grim dark stuff, I don't really associate A Song of Ice and Fire as being grim dark, but I think reasonably it is, even if hope will win in the end, I think.
Well, it all depends on what your starting point is. And I think that George R.R. Martin is establishing that when he refers to Aragorn's tax policy, right? If you're starting with The Lord of the Rings, which has minimal engagement with any kind of psychological realism or accuracy in depicting social relations, no real concern for what a plausible economic model for Middle Earth might be, then George R.R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire is pretty grimdark, right? You have in The Lord of the Rings basically a morality tale and a loosely paganized. It's the New Testament with hobbits, right? And because of that commitment to moral uplift and clarity, it's become a darling of trad cats and different types of Christian traditionalists. But what allows it to play that role is precisely how it flattens psychology, how it simplifies economic, social, political relations. And you just end up with a story about there are good people and there are bad people. And the only gesture towards any kind of complexity is that because of the fallenness of man, sometimes people who could be good get corrupted and turned into unwitting or broken instruments.
But nearly always because of like malign influence, right? Like Boromir was tempted by the ring. His father was brought low, basically by like a decades-long mental contact with Sauron, which, you know, honestly, fair enough. And the King of Rohan, Theoden, was directly brought low again by Saruman's magic.
The whole Grima Wormtongue angle, and to the extent that the only people who have any real agency in this are those that recognize that they have no agency if they're subject to the influence of Sauron. So, as Jason would say, they don't fuck with that. But again, this is a very, I'd say, hidebound and monastic view of a world understanding. It's one where bad outcomes are just the result of the sinful nature of individuals and the forces that are antagonistic to our heroes. It's not that there's a clash of interests, that, you know, there's different land use demands on the riparian basin of the Aranduil or whatever that river is between Gondor and Mordor, right?
I'm thinking actually
fisheries disputes.
It's not true in like kind of his older histories, but it does feel like in that the actual Lord of the Rings story is quite evangelical, like American contemporary evangelical, in the sense that, you know, all evil is like directly caused by the influence of demons, which is presumably not what Tolkien thought about evil in the world, but that's how it does come off in A Lord of the Rings.
Actually, let me stop you right there, right? Because there are Catholic figures. Tolkien was famously a pious Catholic that really do consider any source of sort of suffering or strife, any conflict, have its origins in a supernatural evil, which is why you don't need to understand Mordor. You don't have to figure out motivations for Sauron. Sauron just does evil because that's his nature. You're not going to talk him out of it. And it's the sort of thing which requires a supernatural enemy, an enemy which is beyond, paradoxically, Sauron is so far beyond human understanding that he is absolutely flattened to a one-dimensional, one-tone, ultra simple motivation, right? He just wants to bring darkness in the world. There's that line from one of the Batman movies with Christian Bale, right? Some men just want to see the world burn, right? And that's presented as though it's some complex insight, while in reality, it's just the surrender of understanding. What makes Game of Thrones different is that, to the extent that we can even talk about evil, rather than just a clash of interests between.
Yeah, I mean there are like 3 evil people in a Game of Thrones, but versus the amount of evil that's done by people who aren't evil, they don't actually do much of it. But like Euron Greyjoy, he's evil. He's really evil. He's a guy who's like he's like oh, if you like, oh, Euron Greyjoy, you can have power, but it comes at a cost. And he's like, is the cost like, is it really big? I'd like it to be really big. Like, do I have to kill like 1 million people to get it? Like, that would be great. I think if you told him like, oh, you can get power, but just there's no blood involved, he'd be like,
can there be?
Well,
what the hell, man? What I do want to say before we really get into it is, I don't think that Jar Jar Martin is trying to portray this kind of cynical, grim world where you're best off when you just slaughter your way through people. This is a problem because we've been waiting so long for Winds of Winter. We might die waiting. Well, George might die waiting. But we're exactly just in the point where this stuff is about to backfire horribly on the Lannisters and on the Freys. They're about to get absolutely slaughtered for being in like Tywin Lannister. I think especially because he's giving more gravitas in the show, he comes off as like a smart political operator when he's just like a powerful man who's ruthless, but being like this completely ruthless, cynical man in like a severe hospitality guest right culture is eventually going to completely destroy his family.
I mean, depending on what you believe about that pink letter, the chance it already has in terms of one of the major players in there.
Yeah. While on the other hand, everyone's like, "Oh, Ned Stark, you fucking moron, you fucking idiot!" And admittedly, at the end of Game of Thrones, he acted pretty stupidly. But his honor and his upstanding morality mean that thousands of people, even as the world gets incredibly grim, are willing to fight and die just for the sake of his memory. Do you remember that speech from one of the northern mountain clans where someone's like, well, are you willing to die? Are you going to die for this? Like, it's when they're on the march to Winterfell at the very end of the released books. I have the quote here. The northern clan guy is like, I want to live forever in a land where summer lasts 1,000 years. I want a castle in the clouds where I can look down over the world. I want to be 6 and 20 again. When I was 6 and 20, I could fuck all day and fight all day and fuck all night. What men want does not matter. Winter is almost upon us, boy. I would sooner my men die fighting for Ned's little girl than alone and hungry in the snow. No one sings songs of men who die like that. As for me, I'm old. This will be my last winter. Let me bathe in Bolton blood before I die. I want to feel it splatter across my face when my axe bites deep into a Bolton skull. I want to lick it off my lips and die with a taste of it on my tongue. So if you're a good man, insane, crazy guys like that will sacrifice their life for you, just for the sake of a hope of possibly saving your daughter.
Who, like, spoiler alert,
isn't even there.
Yeah, it's not even her. It's a fake Arya, and yet it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I think when they get there and they're like, "Oh, it's just her," they'll be like, "Well, whatever, let's fucking kill him anyway." Like, that won't change anything at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Stark family works even better as a nebulous ideal than, you know, actual people. If you get rid of the actual people, we can just commence with the killing and get this like individual shit over with.
It is funny that like a reasonable amount of people reasonably believe that like all of the Stark children are dead. And actually, only one of them is.
Yeah. Well, we don't know about one of them. We have no idea what's going on in Skagos. They might have just eaten it.
Rickon has already tamed cannibal. What are you talking about?
Yes, that's where cannibal is. I love that theory.
I was trying to think of the most demented theories, like dementing sounding theories, which I actually believe are true. But we'll get onto that hopefully much later on. We won't instantly descend into that. We'll try and talk about themes and so on.
Yeah.
And I want to suggest that being cruel and cynical in the world of A Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, gets you most everything for a short time, but it requires violating all social mores, and that leads to your inevitable destruction. the strength of certain social rules, which are broadly alien to us, but also understandable and coherent, is one of the main strengths of realism here. So it was I saw a stupid thing on Twitter where it's like, the Tywin violated guest right in a hospitality culture, and so he's going to be done in for that. And then people are like, well, actually, in our culture, mass murder is bad. And it's like, yeah, but you're missing the point, mate. For one, in Westerosi culture, in the right circumstances, mass murder is not morally objectionable, depending on how it happens and the circumstances. And also, but it's like, we don't really have these immensely strong taboos, I guess, in the West, apart from around pedophilia, where there's just some things which are just absolutely like inconceivable to us in any way. And that's the sort of thing.
I don't think that's it. I don't think that it has to do with the strength of taboos. I think it has to do with one of the very first scenes where you're getting to know Ned Stark is he encounters a deserter from the Night's Watch. He sentences the man to die for desertion, and he carries out the sentence himself. There's this whole notion, part of the Stark honor is that the man who passes sentence must carry it out. And I think that in the world of Game of Thrones, if you have a moral code, if you believe in laws, rules, whatever they are, it's on you to instantiate them in the world. There's no gendarmerie that you can appeal to. The White Cloaks are completely corrupt. If you want to make guest right mean something, then yeah, you may have to commit some mass murder in order to preserve that taboo. And they take it for granted. It's actually the further and further that we get into the second Trump administration, it seems like we may still be in that world where it's sort of up to us to.
Did you see Trump was like, "Oh, I actually deserve another term today."
Yeah, and if he's going to be stopped, right? Like the Supreme Court had their chance, right? The organs, the agents that are supposed to maintain this impersonal rule of law system. Forget the international rules-based order. We're talking about the actual simple, direct reading of the Constitution. Well, it turns out that it matters who is there to actually carry out that enforcement. And we've taken it for granted that there's layers of distance between the institution of laws and their and our relationship to them. We just follow the rules, but there's somebody else whose job it is to enforce them. In Westeros, there's absolute clarity here, right? Like the reason that guest right is a thing is because if somebody violates it, you're going to kill them, right? Like the reason that the Starks are sacred is because you yourself, as a Northerner, will avenge them if anything untoward happens to them. And I think that we just don't have that sense that we might be the ones called upon to actually make real our cultural taboos and values. We assume that somehow these things abstractly self-regulate, like the market,
Yeah, no, we need personal intervention in social morality in order to make sure it happens. But I would say one of the kind of most important and interesting, though largely, it's very recently that this system has gone out of use in the West, but the system of bastardry and legitimacy, I think, is one of those systems which is most interesting in George Martin, what most leads to it being feeling realistic, in the sense that there's these clearly deep, thought out social systems which exist and are really nuanced, both in how they're implemented, how people regard them, and that there are like there are like two sides to things, you know, because we feel bad for Jon Snow, but Catelyn Tully is right in feeling that, like, what the fuck is going on with this guy living in my house who my husband refuses to explain, and so on and so forth. And B, he is very much a threat to the succession of her children, especially if Robb was to die. Like, if Robb dies, I mean, this is what happens in the books, where Robb, worrying that he is going to die, legitimizes Jon Snow and names him as his heir, which is like the right thing to do. But Catelyn Tully is like, now her family has been cut out, her children have been cut out of the succession in Winterfell. I don't know if you guys read this, but I suggested that if instead the system of bastardry and legitimacy was portrayed by a kind of YA young adult Brandon Sanderson kind of style of author, the stain of bastardry would be something which is immutable, until we found out that bastardry actually gives you magical powers. And the bastards then all Voltron themselves together into overthrowing the evil regime, and they institute like a liberal constitutional monarchy, which doesn't have a tax policy.
So, like, what, the Blackfire Rebellion is then the French Revolution?
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead, the degree and the ways that bastardry matter are radically different for each character. Jon Snow sits at the Lord's table, and as I mentioned, he was eventually legitimized by his brother, brackets cousin. Edric Storm was raised as the closest thing to a son of the king, including receiving a warhammer. Well, not from his dad, from Vars, sending birthday presents to King Robert's bastard children, though at least he is aware of them, what's actually sent. Orain Waters finds little obstacle in his way to high office. I don't think Orain Waters is in the show. Orain Waters is a Valyrian bastard who Cersei makes Lord of the Ships because he's cute and kind of looks like Rhaegar. And then as soon as things get hairy, he runs away and becomes a pirate in the Steppe Zones.
Nice.
As one does.
Ors Baratheon, the brother of Aegon the Conqueror, was set up as the Lord Paramount of the Stormlands. Ramsay Snow becomes his father's heir, obviously in a very murderous way, but still he gets there.
I mean, there might be some vampire reasons for that.
There might be some vampire reasons for that. He had to keep trying for boys until one had white eyes. On the other hand, base-born bastards normally live normal lives, which are normally grim in this world, even if their father is a lord. Maya Stone, another bastard of Robert Baratheon, is a working woman. And other bastards like Thalia Flowers that are brought into the household are made to be servants as opposed to proper members of their sisters and so on.
Well, I think that one... moving away from the moralization, the taboos, and the narratives associated with illegitimacy, I think that it makes the most sense viewed as a type of HR policy, right? If you limit yourself to true-born heirs in a monogamous society, right? Maybe if you're like the phrase, you can get 8 or 9 out of a typical woman before she dies. Maybe you can have 2 or 3 sequential wives if you live long enough. But this could potentially be a real problem if you don't have that level of fertility. If one or the other partner has some issues with reproduction. If they just get grayscale or whatever, the world of Ice and Fire actually has much better health outcomes than the actual Middle Ages in Europe. But even so, there's a gajillion ways to die, especially for children and vulnerable people.
It's really funny with the Targaryens, because George has to constantly like winnow them down to like 10 guys, but they can't die of common diseases, so they die in the most hilarious, fucked up ways constantly.
Like drinking wildfire or getting eaten alive from the inside by fireworms.
That's rough, man. That's too much.
Yeah,
But,
I think that one, the description really sounds like he had just watched Alien, and like he was like, what if I made the xenomorph birth scene like worse? What would that look like?
but like having a large pool of illegitimate children, and here's the thing, they don't even actually have to be your own. There were a number of significant dynasties, like the Julio-Claudian line in that Julius Caesar and Octavian both belong to, actually practice inward adoption quite regularly. You just, if you find a particularly talented youngster, right, why make blood quanta a limitation to your recruiting strategy?
And obviously the one that cooked out of it was Marcus Aurelius, who the philosopher.
Exactly. He's the one that insisted on the siege is strong, and then we get Commodus, and Russell Crowe becomes a Hollywood draw, right? But I think of illegitimate children in houses great and small all across Westeros as being essentially a type of standing reserve.
Yeah,
you can. It's a bit of a pain in the ass to legitimate them. You owe some favors, but you can when necessary. And even if you don't eventually have them in the line of succession, right? The households require, apart from the noble family themselves, right? Master of arms, maesters, specialists of all kinds, a dedicated crew in order to run a place like Winterfell. I mean, even smaller keeps need some people that you can really trust, and better illegitimate relative than a complete stranger.
Well, that's what the Sand Snakes are, right? That's what all of Oberyn's bastards are.
Yeah, they are very much like they're most explicitly like the reserve army of.
Yeah,
I need to send a guy somewhere. Well, a girl, but.
And it's brilliant, right? It works very well. They're fanatically loyal, absolutely devoted, and a part of that has to do with the fact that the Dornish are just more enlightened, kind of across the board. But the status of women, right, illegitimacy and everything. But yeah, because consider the alternative, right? If you're just limited to trueborn children, then one bad generation and there goes the entire house. Plus, you're constantly surrounded by people who really cannot ascend beyond the level of servant in your universe. They could be the trustiest Jeeves that you could possibly ever have, but sometimes you need more than that. And fundamentally, too, for a proper aristocrat, someone who belongs to the lofty world of knights and people with castles, there is a fundamental psychological barrier to understanding what a commoner wants and feels. With the bastards, there's that gray space, there's that flexibility, which can be very useful, very fertile, if you will.
I was going to talk about the power of love. And the power of love is unironically incredibly important in the works of GRRM Martin. Why did I say
And
like
Captain Planet.
But yeah, the power of love is immensely important in George's works, both on kind of like a physical level and a metaphysical level. And that's very, very distinct from a lot of grimdark work. But that's also a great deal of the reason why bastards aren't often treated in the way that it's kind of written down on paper that they should be. Because people often love their children and people often love their siblings. That's very obviously what's happened with Jon Snow, that he's just a stand-up guy. So all of his siblings, apart from Sansa, really like him, and Sansa is also ambivalent. And that's in the context of their mother at least moderately trying to turn them against them, but that just does not work. And this very much mirrors, not just this, but the whole system of the variety of how bastards are treated very much mirrors what was happening in the medieval world. There are bastards like Anthony, the great bastard of Burgundy, who, by just being like a stand-up guy, being very valorous, he was also a top shagger. He was in the Order of the Golden Fleece, and they took him in once for like a Maoist criticism session, and were like, "You're like virtuous in like every way. You have all the cool stuff, apart from you're a massive philanderer. Like, what's going on, bro?" But he was loved deeply by his father and then by his brother. He never tried to overthrow any of them or assert his own rights or anything like this, and was immensely rewarded for it. He saved his brother's life and blah, blah, blah. There's also William the Bastard, and William the Bastard was a bit more Ramsay Snow in his approach, though not obviously nearly as ruthless. But, he just got there by grinding, He rose and grinded, and he got there in the end. It also relates to the fact, as George Martin has said, there isn't succession law in Westeros. Someone's asking him, what's the succession law in Westeros? And he's like, doesn't exist, mate. That's not how the medieval times worked.
But there is like a master of laws on the small council, but it's very unclear what they actually do.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying there aren't laws.
Oh, yeah.
I think we know of one law in Westeros, like one explicit law, which is actually it's barely a law because it's kind of the abolition of a law. The law is you can't do first night.
Oh, yeah.
And that was woke womanism, because it was Good Queen Alysanne,
I think,
who was having a conference with whores by the wall, who were explaining that they were mostly descended from people that were first knighted, and she was like, "Fuck, let's get rid of this," and they did.
I think that this is based on the approach to traditional law in the Middle Ages, because after all, what's the meaning of law if in theory you've got a monarch with absolute power? And the master of laws, in my thinking, is just there to kind of be a Yoda figure. You talk to them, they know a bunch of stuff. Yeah. And when they bring up laws or decisions of previous rulers, it's basically just like, well, this guy tried it this way, and this is what happened. This other guy did this other thing, and it worked out like this. So, do what you will. Please don't execute me.
But it is impressive. I think one of the things with Westeros is that is maybe slightly implausible, is actually that prior to Robert's Rebellion, I guess prior to the War of the Five Kings, there's once a war over who should be the next king, in the sense of a legitimacy crisis. There's like 4 or 5 great councils where they have to hash out who should be the next king, but they just successfully hash out who is the next king. The only war is the Dance of the Dragons, which, to be honest, Viserys, what were you doing? You were kind of being retarded, bro. Like, he had a daughter and no legitimate sons, also no illegitimate sons. he's like, oh, she's going to be my heir, but I'm also going to remarry. And, well, if I have some sons, then I'll still insist that she's the heir, despite that's a complete violation of all customary law in my country. And this isn't going to end badly, etc., etc. Everyone died.
Yeah,
that's because Jaehaerys was incapable of like really making a decision, right? Like I think that he was so stuck in on like, oh crap, I have to find some kind of compromise between my new wife and my daughter that I promised I would give her the throne. Yeah. That he the reason the whole war really happens is because
he doesn't marry for love, does he? He just marries.
Not really. In the books it's unclear. In the show it's more like
didn't they also make him a nonce in the show? Didn't they make a Blackwood lady like really young?
I mean, there was an age gap.
The Hightower. I mean, yeah, she's like a teenager. It's not like great, but
I think in the books it's like 29 and 18 or something like so.
Yeah. But oh god, what was I going to say? Never mind. Could we go?
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah, I'm stupid. Also, there was though that was kind of like that was Maegor like causing a succession crisis, but that also interfaced with the Targaryens and the church not having actually properly hashed out what their relationship was going to be at the time.
Yeah.
So like there was kind of a Targaryen civil war, but not like it was also happening, but it was kind of like a sub theme of a religious civil war.
I do think there's at least a couple of the Blackfire rebellions that should count as like succession wars, though.
Succession crises.
Because the first one is a succession crisis.
Well, no, because it doesn't happen. Sorry, I mean like at the death of a monarch.
Yeah, because it was Aegon the Unworthy.
He dies, but then Daemon doesn't rebel for like 10 years afterwards or something.
Oh, I thought it happened sooner.
No, like he didn't want to do it. Daemon had to be like egged on for like 10, it might have been only like 6 or 8 years, but he had to be egged on for years and years by Fireball and various other people to actually commit and do the war.
Well, part of the reason, thinking about the House Targaryen, looking for some kind of real world counterpart, the closest thing I can come up with is the Habsburg monarchy, right? They also had a vast empire with subsidiary kingdoms, and they managed to sort of keep it going for a remarkably long period of time. And there was a couple of moments when the gender issue became absolutely decisive.
The pragmatic sanction.
Precisely. I think it was Emperor Joseph who only had a daughter, Maria Theresa. And he spent the last 5-10 years of his reign just going around to every part of the Habsburg realm, getting every single major figure, whether a king or an elector or a council or a diet or a parliament, to recognize Maria Theresa's right to succeed. And they all do, and as soon as he dies, everybody rebels. Everyone's like, no, fuck that. We're not listening.
Yeah, because generally the Dance of Dragons is based on the anarchy in England, but also I think the bit where Viserys gets everyone to sign a document saying you will make Rhaenyra queen, and then everyone, as soon as he dies, is like, nah, I assume it's directly based on the pragmatic sanction.
Although, do you know how that situation ends?
Well, the Austrians
Maria
win,
Theresa.
right? She marries a guy and they win.
She is pregnant when her father dies. And it turns out that the child is a boy.
Mm.
And everyone is rebelling, and she's pushed out of Vienna, and she has to go to Budapest, the Hungarians, right? And the Hungarians are half Asiatic, Turkic, like terrifying warriors. They're basically, semi-Dothraki, right? And she shows up and she just holds up her son so that they can see the little infant penis. And
Don't worry,
then
guys.
the Hungarian lords are like, well, I guess we have to keep our word, right? If it has a dick, your word will stick. And she got her army, and once you have the Hungarians, one after another, the other dominoes fell into place.
The funny thing about the anarchy in England, which you definitely couldn't adapt, and it's good that George did not have this happen. But the thing is, Matilda never died. Like she died decades after the anarchy finished. She just at some point is like, oh, okay, whatever. Actually, my sons can be king instead of me. And everyone's like, oh, okay then.
Okay.
Yeah.
One point of divergence is that the Habsburgs were surrounded by other significant powers. France, Bavaria. I can't remember if Prussia at this point was a rival, but you had other forces.
Yeah, I think Australian succession was like them against everyone.
Yes, them against absolutely everyone. And the whereas the Targaryens just have to deal with other Targaryens.
Red Rogue is suggesting that the oath signing was also part of Matilda's succession, but if that is true, and I assume it probably is, that's something I missed when I was reading about these things. All the rest of us wouldn't even let it go through the female line. What was the plan? Which was the plan for the queen who never was? It would have gone to a son. But of course, that is what happens in the end. It is Rhaenyra's descendants who sit the Iron Throne until today.
Well, and then Robert's claim to the throne is through the female line.
Yeah.
It's interesting, too, because if you're going to be a real stickler for this kind of thing, then there's always the Turkish solution, right? You have polygamy and a harem, and you just have an entire football team worth of sons waiting in the wings, all training up. And
they didn't use the personal union system for monarchies, Muslim monarchies in EU4, just because it would never happen, because it requires one kingdom to not have an heir. And Muslim kingdoms have like a plus 100% or 300% or something heir chance. So they just always have one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the harem is for. But then the first role of any newly minted sultan, in fact, the way that they become sultan is by killing all of their brothers.
Yes. I feel like, right, I did miss a paragraph. Did you know that, guys, that there's a set of historical novels, French historical novels called The Accursed Kings, which are a set of novels about the 14th century French kings and their various horrible bullshit which happens to them, caused by the English and not caused by the English. And those are the books basically which, to anything George based A Song of Ice and Fire on. There's this horribly tragic things happening to king after king. There was one king who they basically put on a mummer's farce, as they would have in, as George would call it. It was like a relative of his, but who was a widow, and widows remarrying at the time was like you'd poke fun at them basically. So they came dressed as basically like forest demons, like fully dressed, like the king and like 5 of his young guys came dressed in like big furry outfits of like wool that were like green and stuff. And they like danced around the stadium and blah, blah, blah. And then his cousin, which many people think wanted to take the throne, came in, even though it was forbidden, with a lit torch in his hand. And these 5 guys just go up. And it's just this horrifying scene of the king and 4 other guys just burning. The king survives because he'd informed a female cousin of his that it was him below the suit just before. And just as he was getting set on fire, she took him under like the skirts of her dress. And that was enough to put out the flames. And another man survived by jumping in a vat of wine. But the other 3 burned to death. And these are the sort of this is the sort of stuff that George got the material for A Song of Ice and Fire from history and from some of the most horrendous things happening in France in the 14th century.
I think though that there's kind of on the realism angle, a lot of the classic fantasy stuff is all written by Europeans and English who think themselves Europeans. I'm not making a comment on that. I'm just
one way or the other.
But George is like through and through an American, and doesn't have the same kind of emotional attachment to this history. He thinks it's cool. He draws inspiration from it, but he's not going to be precious about it. He's pulling as much from like Lovecraft as he is from 14th century history.
George Martin doesn't think there's a true king.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't take sides.
And like his whole commentary on the system is basically like, this is like pretty fucked. And I think that a lot of the moral messaging in his books is pretty like, yeah, these systems are like deeply violent to everyone involved, even the nobility. This sucks for them, and it shouldn't be how we set up a society.
Although, think about the free cities, right? The Republican merchant, the merchant republics on Essos, not better.
I think that's actually a really interesting example. I think I was going to bring it up, but I don't think I wrote it down in the end. Of Liz, or however you want to pronounce it, Lise,
I think.
Which on the face of it is like a really lovely place. It's beautiful. Everyone there is beautiful. They all have the Targaryen coloring. It's a very rich place, very wealthy. In some ways, like very civilized. And their main export is slavery and slavery-related industries. Their most famous export are sex slaves. And so I think George does that very well, where he's like, this place is nice and also not. And then there's some places which are just, this place sucks. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Bravo seems like a better place to live than anywhere in Westeros, I'd say.
I think that if there's any place that he seemed to write sympathetically without showing some dark underbelly or the reality of power politics, it was the Summer Islands. And precisely because it was such a nice place, it was victimized by everybody. Right? Their virtue, their decency could not be extricated from their weakness. While everybody who survives by becoming in some way a monster, right? Was it Bravos that had the factions like the tigers and the elephants?
That is Volantis.
That's Volantis.
Volantis is the home of the most of the old Valerian families. Bravos is the former slave city which rebelled. Well, they didn't rebel. They're like descended from slaves fleeing Valeria.
Mm-hmm.
It's where the Faceless Men are from.
Yes, and they have, and there's the assassination death cult, and Bravos is also, if I recall correctly, like a very warlike city, right? They're constantly fighting the other free cities.
Are you thinking of Volantis again?
Yeah.
Or Pentos?
I know Tyrosh.
Bravos are the bank guys.
Well, there you go, capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So
do you,
no one's good, right?
No.
There's the
Do you want to know
Dothraki,
my
the Gistari.
the most
Well,
insane theory? I believe, at least in how it sounds when you say it. I think when you explain it, it's not that insane. It's just putting two quite common theories together. Is that the Faceless Men caused the White Walker invasion?
Go on.
It's a common theory that the Faceless Men caused the Doom of Valeria. That they like pulled some kind of one of the nuclear reactor dragon things, and that caused the whole place to go up because they're descended from the slaves. They're from Bravos, probably, and the idea is that basically they took down the Valerians. And then I think it's really fucking obvious
So they're Antifa.
that the White Walkers woke up when Valeria went away. Because if Valeria is around in its pomp of power, the White Walkers would be incinerated in like seconds. They wouldn't get a foot past the wall. If a Valerian freehold could be asked. But then the thing is, with the Valerian freehold, they had so many dragons, you could have just like hired some idiot cousin to bring him and his like 10 stupidest mates, and they would just blow up the White Walker invasion.
One thing that I think the show in its degenerate final seasons does get right is that the White Walkers are powerful enough, smart enough, ruthless enough, so that yeah, the dragons are a problem, but there are solutions to fighting dragons. Just like the Viet Cong shot down B-52s. There's a lot of cover north of the wall. Snow is a natural flame retardant, right? Like, plus, as soon as you get one of them down, you turn it. The technology becomes your own.
I will say I do actually believe that it doesn't matter like beating the White Walkers. It doesn't matter how big your army is or how many dragons you have or whatever. The actual defeat of the White Walkers is not going to be like a physical event on snow. Like it's going to be some kind of magical metaphysical deal, basically. But I would say basically it's less about the dragons themselves, but rather like the balance of magic in the world. And when you have like 1,000 fire-breathing dragons, you just don't get the magic balance that would lead to the White Walkers invasion. But it could be the case that even if the Valerian freehold didn't explode, the dragons would have just all eventually sickened and died for no discernible reason, as happens with the Targaryens. Which, notably, I didn't realize this until recently. I only found this out in the past like week since I went back. Like 5-6 dragons survived the Dance of Dragons. I thought they were down to like 2 or something, and they were both like sickened and young. But no, there were like 5 or 6 healthy dragons after the dance. But then in the next 30 years, they just died off. And I don't think that was a secret Grand Maester conspiracy or anything. I think that was just the tides of magic had turned in some way, and then.
There's
inbreeding.
Yeah, I don't. I think cannibal just kind of disappears. But I think it's also probably likely the cannibals from a different line of dragons than the Targaryen ones. But I think that there's something to do with like George has been pretty clear in that like the seasons are not like that's not like it's not a 2-star system. The explanation is not, some weird physics puzzle. Yeah. It's magic, and it's like cycles of magic. And I think that like generally that kind of cycles of magic thing is probably what's doing the dragons and the walkers, right?
Yeah, it's not like Daenerys got the dragons back because no one had tried to put them in a fire before.
Yeah. But like the White Walkers, I think are or the the others in the books. They're one of a couple like repeating, death swallowing the world motifs that are around. Like for the Dothraki, it's the grass, the ghost grass, that's gonna grow over the entire world. I think there's another like related prophecy from
there's a common global myth that instead of being about a flood in this world, is about like the long night.
Yeah, and it's whether it's fire or grass or ice, it's a it's a personification of like death and emptiness.
And it all sounds like post-nuclear apocalypse. You have
and George has trafficked in that explicitly in some of his short stories.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons that A Song of Ice and Fire has worked as adapted to a TV show, while basically every other fantasy series has failed, is George is a TV writer. I think that's really decisive. I think the fact that he wrote TV led to him writing stuff which could then be put on TV. While there's lots of stuff like I think a faithful Game of Thrones adaptation would work, and obviously it did. But I think a lot of people think the problem with other fantasy shows failing is that they weren't faithful enough to the original work. And I think that's often not true, because like stuff like A Wheel of Time could not be faithfully adapted to TV in any reasonable way, unless you like really, really stretch what that means. Or it was like one of those like mid 2000s American TV shows which had like 60 episodes a year. And it was just like people hanging out. Red Droga says the White Walkers were around. Sorry, what were you saying, Kuba?
The books were unreasonably long. The Wheel of Time, right?
Yeah.
Robert Jordan, 1,000-page. I mean, it's bad enough if you've got a 1,000-page book, but a cycle of 8 or 9,000-page books. It's like, come on, man.
This is 14, Kuba. But what I think is really great about Wheel of Time, and maybe we can talk about it sometime, is I think decisive from every other fantasy show. By the end of book 4, the prophesized hero, who's real, everyone thinks a prophesized hero is real. Like, it's not people being skeptical. They do believe there's a real prophesized hero. They believe the devil is real. At the end of book 4, the prophesized hero has declared himself, has taken over like his first cities and so on. People generally believe it's him. They believe him and he's the guy. And you think they're setting up to like have the final battle with the devil or whatever. And then he spends 9 more books like herding cats and doing politics. Because actually, even if you're Jesus and you're about to fight the devil, people aren't just going to fall in line.
That's kind of a...
Go on.
I was going to say that's kind of what Danny's doing, right?
Yeah.
At this point in the books.
It is also the thing of like, if George wrote Lord of the Rings, 90% of the story would be internal politics in Gondor and them struggling to kind of mount a resistance to Sauron. And then Sauron would only feature in like the last 5 and 10%. Like you'd see orcs, like as in A Song of Ice and Fire, you'd see orcs in like the first chapter of the first book. Then you wouldn't see them for like 2 more books as Gondorians just slaughter the shit out of each other.
Well, in the case of Brand Althor and the Targaryen, Daenerys Targaryen, you've got these outsider characters that have their unique anointed position. That's sort of this messianic mission and importance and the signs of prophecy, but they have no power base, right? To the extent that Daenerys has anything at all, it's the Dothraki Khalisar that she inherits, but half of them fuck off as soon as Khal Drogo dies, and she's just left with some loyalists, and to the point where she has to go and find, purchase Unsullied, and can create, like her Mameluke slave army. Similarly, Randall Thor he's not a king of anywhere, right? Like and this is inherently, it makes a lot of sense that you would have to spend 9 books doing politics, because you show up somewhere and you're like, I'm the guy who's going to save the world, so you should obey me. And it's like, what the fuck? No.
The funny thing about Rand is that he is actually royalty, but he isn't legitimate king of anywhere.
Well, that's a problem. That kind of makes you not royalty, doesn't it?
Yeah, in the sense that matters. Kuba, your audio's become shit. I don't know why. I don't know if you can pull something out or shove something back in. It's not like it's you're understandable, but it's bad. Red Dog says Wheel of Time is dope as hell. I go back and forth which one I like more, A Song of Ice and Fire or it. I like Wheel of Time more, but I think A Game of Thrones is a lot more fun to talk about.
Yeah, I haven't read Wheel of Time, so I have no comment.
Kuba, what's your favorite? Sorry, not Kuba. Well, I mean, it could be Kuba. Quinn, what's your favorite wacky theory? I just planned to ask Quinn first.
Okay. My favorite wacky theory.
I mean, you can start just with what your normal, what you believe is the most normal theory, which is definitely true, but is at least somewhat controversial still.
Okay, my favorite controversial theory is that do you know about biological chimerism?
Yes.
Maybe explain it.
So it's a thing that can happen. You see it a lot in cats where they're like split down the middle, and like one half is like one kind of cat, one cat is colored like the other kind of cat. This can happen with humans.
Oh right, where the egg gets jizzed on multiple times.
That is so there's a couple ways that it can happen, but that's one of them. And one of my favorite like kind of dumb theories is that Tyrion is the son of both Aerys and Tywin.
Hell yeah.
So he is a secret Targaryen, but he's also still Tywin's son.
Do you know what I think is not that crazy of a theory, but I couldn't see anyone saying it? Is that the Sword of the Morning, what do you call him? Arthur Dane is Jon's father.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of them. There's a bunch of stupid Jon's parents theories that I find just devolve into like, speculating.
I mean, it's another thing of like waiting 12 years for Winds of Winter or whatever, where people are like, they worked out the obvious truth, which is that Jon is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. And then because we've had so long to speculate, people then will like speculate for so hard they get into other ones. I don't think that Jon Snow is the son of Arthur Dane, but compared to most of the other theories, at least he was around and could have fucked Lyanna, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's also the case with all the Great Empire of the Dawn theories. Like, it does not fucking matter, guys.
Yeah,
it's
so
not
like
impact the story at all.
I think it's reasonable to believe that both the Danes and Targaryens are descended from some kind of Great Empire of the Dawn, kind of like dragon interface experiment, genetic breeding kind of thing. But that doesn't matter and will never be confirmed in the show, in the books.
The books, yeah.
It'd be insane considering the Danes aren't in the show at all if they just suddenly confirmed that in the show.
So one theory that I do kind of fuck with is that Benjen Stark is gonna have like a much darker role in the end. And
right. I mean, is this in the context of him being cold hands or not?
No. I believe the editor's note, or the note to the editor, that it's not Benjen. Also, I think one of the Grinseers is like, Cold Hands has been here for a long time, and she's been here for like 800 years. So a long time seems like it won't be like the 6 years since Benjen went missing. I think that Benjen is doing stuff to set up, or has been doing stuff to set up Jon Snow to lead the Night's Watch, and maybe become the next Night's King. I think that he was the one who sent the Whites back to attack Mormont and to get Jon Snow to be the one to save Mormont.
But I mean, how do you think he got this theory? Like, is he working with Bloodraven or is he working against Bloodraven?
I I think they're probably working parallel. Like I don't think they're working directly together. I think he's tapped into some old, weird Stark magic.
The other suggestion is that it's actually Benjen Stark, for what Red Drogo is saying. I think it's definitely not Barristan, because Barristan like reflects on it and seems to have not got pussy.
Yeah.
And you feel like if it was Ned would have thought it, but then you think also if it was Benjen, then Ned probably would have thought it too. So
it could have been Benjen.
Yeah.
And that's why he ran off to take the black, because he was ashamed.
His attempt to breed the perfect Great Dawn of the Empire soldier failed, and so he had to flee to the north to make different plans, obviously.
Yeah.
Kuba, are you a theory cell?
I really like Stannis.
Oh, you muted.
Or no, he's not muted. It's just really, really low.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You can hear me now. I
Just barely.
always complains about my.
Oh yeah, I do hear the very slightest amount. Go back to whatever you were before. It's bad you have shit audio than no audio.
Okay.
Oh,
You became
Now we can
slightly
hear you.
louder.
I think that maybe I just need to lean in closer so you can.
it worked for feminism.
I'm talking.
I'm
Better.
having to lean in to hear Kuba leaning in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like Stannis Baratheon, and I appreciate the fact that he actually seems to be a sort of rational statecraft leader rather than the sort of romantic protagonists that come out of the Stark line or the ruthless son of a bitch Tywin Lannister. And I think that he's going to ambush the Boltons on the at the lighthouse on the ice lake.
Yeah.
He's going to lure them out there.
He's gonna do Austerlitz.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to do Austerlitz. And yeah, I don't know where it goes from there, but I like the idea of having a larger role for Stannis Baratheon, that he's not just an afterthought, just be discarded. I also like the whole, all of the Cthulhu Easter eggs that are speckled throughout the whole mythos, around the Iron Islands, the oily sea stone chair, and everything.
Which I think are going to become a lot less hints and a lot more just like in your fucking face as Euron brings some fucked up shit out at the start of Winds of Winter.
Well, I mean, he's probably
It'd be really funny though if it doesn't work.
I don't know if I think that there's a chance that like he tries to summon like actually some like deep one old gods, and they're the drowned god comes up, looks at him, is like, no, you're not worthy. You haven't done enough murder, and then goes away. Like I think he might get rejected, but I do think there's a decent chance that he, sacrifices his dipshit brother to steal a dragon.
Because the only real priest of the deep one that we're actually the drowned god, whatever, that we're getting information from is Patches.
Yep, Patchface.
Stannis' fool. He was a real priest of the drowned gods, and possibly might seem like he's with the others too. So there might be some kind of dark alliance going on. It is so funny, like Winds of Winter has just been hanging over the community for so long.
There's one chapter, right?
There's like 12 released chapters of Winds of Winter. You talk, I'll try and look up how many it is.
Yeah, anyway, if you're making me talk, then I'm just going to have to sign off because it's getting late here.
Okay.
Tomorrow is a school day.
Do we want to defend one of the
3, 4,
theories?
5, 6, 7,
before we
8,
go?
9, 10. There are 10 released chapters of
Winds of Winter.
The Winds of Winter. I don't know. I mean, Kuba. I'm not sure if Kuba has the interest of doing insane law bullshit, because it could be fine that Kuba goes now and then we start just doing like
Serious
I'm
shit is
the
over.
Emperor of ET.
There's the
We just stop being sensible at all.
Yeah.
But I'll catch that later. You guys go deep.
I was gonna say, do you have anything you wanted to say about realism and medievalism and A Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones and so on before you go?
I appreciate the psychological realism, especially it's a completely different type of fantasy than you get from J.R.R. Tolkien, right? The movement away from adversaries as being demonic, is representing some sort of metaphysical evil, right? That's a fable. That's a storybook. There's, the reason that Iran and the United States were antagonistic had nothing to do with one being evil and the other one being good. Right? That's just not the way that human psychology works. And it's a shallow projection. It infantilizes people. Like Lord of the Rings fundamentally is for children. And George R.R. Martin, he mines history and he turns it into a narrative for adults. And that requires a certain level of realism, even if you don't go all the way down to the Domesday Book of Westeros.
I think that would be a book in its own, just trying to do a census in Westeros.
Yeah. That's a spin-off, right? Like maybe when they finish with House of the Dragon, right? It's just like Varys and Littlefinger going around trying to count heads of cattle.
Everyone is just telling infinite lies. I own nothing. I'm no one. I'm made of dirt and tears, and I'm untaxable in any way.
And some
I do appreciate that
what he's doing is like, oh no, I own all of this.
I didn't actually read it, but there's a thing on like the hints about how the taxation system works in Westeros. But I do appreciate that George largely realized that medieval kings did not raise money through like being like the Lord of Stormland must give me 10% of his income. Like, that's not what happened.
Yes, there's a problem with your tax return this year, Lord Baratheon. All right, I'm going to sign off.
All right,
you guys can.
Thank you, Kuba.
Here, gentlemen.
Do you have the theory thing up?
I do, yeah.
So my suggestion is, because they're so insane, a lot of them, that they're just indefensible.
So
my suggestion is
we get a couple skips.
Click the button 5 times, copy them all out into a text document, and then choose the one that you think is most defensible.
Okay.
It is funny though when you get some of them which are just true. Like you get Daenerys Targaryen.
Okay.
We are for the audience. We are currently on Ultrascripts X, totally accurate. A Song of Ice and Fire theory generator. And what we're going to do, which I failed to explain, is we are going to try and defend one of these theories. I think it'd be funny enough to read the five theories out and then choose, announce publicly which one you're going to defend.
Oh, fuck me. Okay.
I've got to also remember who these fucking characters are. Who's fucking Glorious Ed? Is he a Night's Watchman, I think?
Maybe. I gotta look that one up.
From House Tollett.
Yeah. He's one of like John's friends.
Yeah. Moon Boy, who are you? Some
Moon
of the
Boy is
fools.
the dancer in the veil that Littlefinger pins the the murder of Lysa on.
Oh, poor him. Moonboy is the fool. Oh no, he's the fool of Baratheon.
Oh.
You're thinking of the Moon Door.
Oh, I am thinking of the Moon Door.
Oh yeah, he just continues to exist and just hangs out. He's not dead, he's not fucked up. Hashkush 420 says, "Hi all." Raw Abiba suggests that dragons are realistic. Yes, that is also the thing that I think with people sometimes act as if A Song of Ice and Fire was like started off not magic and then got magic, and that's not true at all. It's like completely magic from the very start, but it's just kind of in a certain context. Have you got your 5?
Yeah. I gotta do a little double checking to see which ones I can actually defend.
I mean, there's 2 of mine which are at least semi-defensible. One of them's really boring.
I think none of mine are boring, thankfully.
Okay, good.
I don't think he died. I gotta double check that this guy's not dead. Because I can't remember how it ends for him.
Oh shit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I know what I'm defending.
Do you want to go first or second?
I can go first.
Okay. Read your 5 theories, then tell when you're going to defend.
So my 5 theories. Podrick poisoned the locusts.
Poison who? You started laughing.
Sorry. Podrick was the one who poisoned the locusts.
Oh, at Joffrey's feast.
No. The ones that are fed to Daenerys and
right, the ones that make us shit our lungs out. Yeah. Okay. Probably not really defensible.
Yeah.
If it was Joffrey, that would be.
That one would have worked. No. Gendry killed Vargo Hoat.
Okay, I guess that could have happened. It didn't, but like
it didn't, but it could have.
At least they're in the same part of the world.
Yeah. I'm gonna move that one down to the end because that's the one I'm gonna defend. Tormund and Joanna Lannister are Daenerys' real parents.
Cool.
Jorah is a secret Targaryen.
Cool.
And the one that I would like to defend, Stannis will fall in love with Zaro Zoandaxis.
Is that Dany's husband?
It is
Zaro?
Dany's first husband, who is, I think, now the leader of Karth.
Not the leader of Meereen?
I don't think so. I think it. Let me double check.
Oh, the guy that in the show is a black guy. Him.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think he marries her. They just kind of hang out.
Oh yeah, they have like a thing, and then when she's like, "I'm not going to give you a dragon," he's like, "You should probably leave."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, we should go to a shy and stuff," and she's like, "I want to go home."
Everyone keeps telling her, "You gotta come to a shy. Come to a shy." Makes me think that maybe she's gonna have to go to a shy.
Truly, the Dubai of Westeros, of Planet Toss, as people say, and sounds like dog shit. So please defend this.
Okay, so let me double check where Karth is on the map. Actually, I'm not going to do that. It's only going to make my case worse. So, after Stannis does Austerlitz, I think that it is going to go poorly. I think there's going to be massive losses on both sides, and he is going to have to go on the run. Because he's pissed some people off. There's probably wildlings after him for, reasons. He's being chased by, the remnants of let's say the Bolton forces, and he gets on a ship that is blown wildly off course. He's trying to get back down to Dragonstone because he's decided that he wants to live out the rest of his days, back at home with his family, even though they're back up at the wall. He just misses Dragonstone. And
okay, you got him roughly 1/10 of the way there.
Yeah. So he's on a ship. A crazy fucking storm hits. He is blown so far off course. And his ship is like wrecked into it is pushed into the harbor and crashes into another ship right outside of Karth. And he comes in and makes his case to the 13. I am the rightful king of Westeros. You have to help me get back and pay for my army. And the 13 are like, we already had a rightful leader of Westeros, and she had dragons. What's your deal?
You're just a guy who's wet. You're like an aging wet man.
You seem like a real downer.
You're really killing the vibe.
But I think that Xaro is going to see him and kind of take him under his wing. And yes, Red, that's correct. But
that's why he goes to Karth. He sees Dragonstone and has like an allergic reaction. Like, this place fucking sucks.
Let's turn that way. Let's pretend it was a storm. And while he's like, okay, shit, we gotta take a step back. I gotta figure out how to make my case to the 13. And so he moves in with Xaro, and what starts as a friendship develops into something more, and they fall deeply in love. And then they settle down. And they let Fagon and the rest of them fight for the Iron Throne, and Stannis retires, having completely forgotten about Melisandre, but also his wife and daughter, and any other responsibilities in Westeros.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just like he's gone to a lot of people and be like, I'm the king. And they're like, fuck off. One time he gets told that and he's like, all right, whatever. I'm fucking off.
I think there's only a certain number of times you can be told fuck off after saying I'm the king. And then you're like, I guess I have to fuck off.
My 5 are Dolores Ed Targaryen. Dolores Ed is secretly from Highgarden, which is the one. He's from the Vale, but like you could just be like, well, he lied about what family he's from. He's actually from Highgarden. That's one that's most defensible, but I won't defend him because it's boring. Moonboy will be defeated in battle by an unnamed wildling at Riverrun, which I don't think will happen. Jon Snow will be defeated in battle by Brienne at Mount Caelin, which I guess could happen if he became the Night King. Or similar stuff, or she becomes the Night King.
Yeah, but Mokaelin is south of most of the north. It's like at the neck. So. Oh
yeah, but we're assuming that the I was going to say, have you ever heard of Exodus theory?
I'm not sure I have.
Exodus theory is basically the theory that most of the rest, we're expecting that everyone's going to converge on Westeros, but Exodus theory suggests instead that Westeros is going to get its shit blown the fuck out in the Winds of Winter, and everyone's just going to leave, and the rest of the story is going to happen in Essos, which is obviously not going to happen.
No,
but it is a very well written theory, which actually understands the literary themes that are going on in George's work. So it's very, everyone's like, oh, this is a well written theory, which is definitely not true. But the one I'm going to seek to defend is the thesis that Arya Stark is secretly a Targaryen.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, Ned Stark needs to protect the child of Lyanna Stark. What's the best way to do that? Not to randomly bring a suspicious bastard back home with you and just be like, yeah, don't worry about it, mate. Don't one think about this boy. That's literally a solution to Catelyn wondering about it. He's like, Stop thinking about it, bitch. No one's allowed to say Ashara Dane's name in this castle. Like, he doesn't. He just doesn't give a theory about who is Jon's mother or anything like this. Much better way to defend.
Well, he does say, "I'll tell you later,"
and doesn't.
Yeah.
And he also goes to Jon Snow. When I next see you, we've got some important stuff to be talking about, and then he never sees him again. Obviously,
yeah.
Though he'd already sent him to the wall, so when the fuck was he going to see him? Like, much better way to keep the child of Lyanna Stark safe is to completely pass him off as someone else. So Rob and Jon are actually full brothers. They're twins of Catelyn. Arya is Lyanna's child.
Some timeline questions.
Jon and Rob are born and raised in Winterfell, while Arya is.
So who's their mother?
Jon and Rob are full brothers. Catelyn is their mother.
And but she wasn't engaged to Ned until after his brother died.
I'm saying that like that Rob and Jon are like almost the same age.
Sure.
Like, that's not the hard part of my theory here. They're twins, and maybe Catelyn doesn't know. Maybe like one of the babies was just like snatched instantly away, just like, whoa. It's all part of Ned's master plan. And then Arya is just a few years older than we think. So Catelyn has 2 babies in that year, and there's another baby, and that baby became Arya, and that is Lyanna's child. Notably, everyone says Arya Stark, spitting image of who? Or maybe you don't know. It's Lyanna Stark. Everyone says that Arya looks exactly like Lyanna Stark, and that's why Arya is a secret Targaryen.
Okay, so just checking on here, at least in the CK3 timeline, which I think is relatively accurate to the book ages. Rob is 15 here, and Arya is 9.
She's 15.
I think that what you're not thinking about is the whole
I mean, to be honest, Quinn, it's much better than your fucking defense. So, well, at least I think that you have the advantage of only speculating about future events. I have to change the past.
Well, but you're not using the mechanism already in Game of Thrones for changing the past, which is that Arya is the time traveling fetus.
All right,
which, as we all know, is in the books and canon.
Yeah. I mean, wait, what is the time traveling? Because there is. Oh, right, it's Bran doing the thing with Hodor. That's the retrocausality which exists.
That's the time travel, but from there, I think the time traveling fetus is usually that Jon Snow is actually Daenerys and Khal Drogo's baby,
right? Who
is time traveled back by the power of the Red Comet or whatever,
and fucking kills Lyanna.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do know that retrocausality is a thing which exists in a Game of Thrones, in A Song of Ice and Fire, because of the whole thing with Hodor and Hold Door, which it was such a bizarre, cringe thing that that George Martin wrote it in the 90s in his secret notebook.
Yeah. I don't think that it's going to be him literally like holding a door. I think he's probably going to be like fighting with Longclaw or something. Like he's going to be like, hacking at people.
Yeah. But that is, I do believe that it's true that the retrocausality was not made up by D&D.
They're not creative enough.
No. Catelyn forgot she had twins. I mean, that's the only way to make her POV make sense, which is the main obstacle to the theory.
Well,
Ned is kind of a funny. Ned is a really impressive POV because he just doesn't think about a lot of shit. Like, for instance, he just doesn't think about who actually fucked Ashara, even though he presumably knows.
I think that a better way to justify this theory would be that either Catelyn or Ned is a secret Targaryen.
Okay, but that's cheating. If you just go backwards, then like, yeah, that's like.
Okay, all right. Maybe I mean, my justifications were not good, so maybe I shouldn't get on this high.
I mean, it's obviously a hard theory, but yeah, I mean, I think that would be. But I assume when people say X is a Targaryen, they mean one of their parents was a Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
Another round?
Sure. All right.
Oh, that one's boring.
We should skip the boring ones.
Possibly true. What the fuck? Who the fuck is Cotter Pike? I'll fucking cotter your pike, mate.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the Night's Watch.
I don't even Night's Watch characters. I started trying to think of a Song of Ice and Fire fan fiction, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, this story has so many moving parts.
I mean, we're doing fan fiction right now. We're just calling it theories.
Yeah, I did see. Did you see that fucking shit on? I don't know if you go on Twitter.
I try to avoid it, but I'm not sometimes unsuccessful.
Someone was like, "Why don't straight guys make fan fiction?" And it's like someone was like, "Yeah, they do. They're just called theory videos."
No, I think this is actually worse than Risk.
Oh, to be clear, if you look at viewer numbers, no one's fucking watching this.
Oh, I fucking imagine.
Though actually, it does say in my thing, we have over 100 viewers, but that is nearly entirely Twitter bots.
You know what? I'll take it.
Or possibly loyal, faithful, true listeners on Twitter who are all going to log out now because I call them bots. We allegedly have 115 viewers right now. I think the actual reality is about 25.
Yeah, that sounds more right.
You got your 5? I do need to look up who any of these
I'm just
people
skipping.
are.
No, I know what I'm going to do. All right. That's a good one to end on. I'm not going to defend that one, but okay. So I've got mine. You wanna take the lead this time?
I just need to look up who Barbary Dustin and Tyrene Sand are.
Tyrene Sand.
Damn, Barbary Dustin's looking kind of hot.
Nice.
I don't know who she is. Tyrene Sand. Oh, she's the one that's her mother is a scepter that fucking Oberyn Martell fucked. Okay, my theories are yeah, it's just us and Red Drogo, but that three's a crowd.
Yeah, we're having fun.
I thought we'd have a lot of people that wanted to hear all about A Song of Ice and Fire, but maybe our audience is not the right kind of nerd. We've cultivated the wrong kind of nerd. My 5 are Bran will form an alliance with Asher to defeat Cotter Pike in a climatic battle at Winterfell. That one will not happen and is indefensible. Barbary Dustin will join Daenerys' Queen's Guard. That's mostly unlikely because she's just a random middle-aged woman who doesn't know how to sword fight. Mace Tyrell will join the Night's Watch. Very unlikely to happen, but it could, and if it did, it's boring.
I mean, what would he do there?
Tyene Sand will wield Lightbringer, which I don't think is true unless there's some kind of prophecy which requires like the daughter of a alleged virgin to wield Lightbringer or something like that. But the theory I'm going to seek to defend is the White Walkers will be defeated at Storm's End. So I think the White Walkers are going to get far.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like basically thematically necessary for them to go through the Riverlands because of the amount of time we spent in the Riverlands.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're getting through the north. I think like Winterfell will be reclaimed at like the end of the series or something, but I think Winterfell is falling to the White Walkers. They're getting through the neck somehow. So I think that will be like a very big event. And they're getting into the Riverlands. I think a very notable thing is there's never ever in the entire history of Westeros since King's Landing was founded in the Conquest, is there's never been an extended siege of King's Landing. King's Landing is always something which is either like immediately assaulted or is just taken without a fight. It's often taken without a fight. I think another thing which will happen again in the series, I think the White Walkers will walk straight through King's Landing. If it's held by a young Griff or young Griff and Cersei or young Griff and I saw people calling young Griff young Grift, which was great.
Nice.
But Storm's End is not a place which falls, though it is going to fall probably at the start of Winds of Winter, because it's basically undefended. And Storm's End is probably the most impressive piece of construction produced by like the precursor civilization, whoever they may be in Westeros.
Well, I thought it was built with the help of Bran the Builder.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the that's like the mythic history, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But obviously Bran the Builder allegedly lived 8,000 years ago, which is one of the funniest things about George's writing. Though obviously I think people will be like, wow, George is a fucking idiot. He thinks people had 8,000-year-old histories. People didn't have 8,000-year-old histories, but they often thought they did. Like the Chinese.
Well, there's also like pretty explicitly in the like John is supposed to be like the 998th.
Oh yeah, which is like
Lord Commander, and then Sam's like, hey, there's only record of like 200 of you guys.
Yeah. And obviously it's also he's 998th, so he can die, someone else can be elected, and then he can be the 1,000th.
Yeah.
But Storm's End is like basically the walls are like fused stone. Like there's no grip at all on them. And one of the most insane theories in the Song of Ice and Fire is that Storm's End is actually a nuclear reactor, because that's like kind of how the walls look. They look like the walls of a nuclear cooling tower. And I don't think Storm's End is a nuclear power plant, but I do think that Storm's End.
What Stijai is the real nuclear facility that melted down and caused the world to be like this.
Oh yeah, obviously there's nuclear reactors in the Shire. Don't get me wrong. That is not in Storm's End. Yeah, I think Storm's End is like one of the relics of the Great Empire of the Dawn. It was possibly involved in a previous effort to defeat the White Walkers. And a lot of things end at Storm's End. I think that's kind of the nature of Storm's End. A lot of ambitions end at Storm's End. A lot of stories and people and so on and so forth end at Storm's End. And I think it's very possible that the series will end at Storm's End.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. All right.
What have you got, bro?
So, Alistair will wipe out the Snarks.
Cool.
The house with the red door is actually an old town.
Right, because there's a theory that the house with the red door is actually in Dawn. That's the normal theory. Yeah.
Patchface will kill Bran with Lightbringer.
Okay.
The Hound is Nissa Nissa.
Nissa Nissa is one that died 8,000 years ago, right?
Yes.
Okay.
To create Lightbringer.
Yeah. It's Circle of Life, in it.
Yep. But no, the one I would like to defend is the Grand Shadowbinder Conspiracy.
Hell yeah.
Which is vague enough that I can make it be whatever it wants. So,
okay, yeah. Hopefully it involves Shadowbinders.
Shadowbinding, right? Fire magic from R'hllor. You sacrifice what would be like, a child, and that becomes this being of shadow that you control.
Right, that's how Dany's dragons were made.
No.
Yeah, her unborn child was sacrificed to the dragon.
Sure. Yeah. But the Grand Shadowbinder Conspiracy is the flip side of this. It is the it's that shadowbinding can also be done by ice magic, and when ice magic users do shadowbinding, instead of a being of shadow, it's a being of ethereal light.
Ooh.
Which is how the others are actually described in the books.
Ooh.
So
the Grand Shadowbinder Conspiracy is just the White Walkers.
The Grand Shadowbinder Conspiracy is that the others, the White Walkers, are actually just the children of the forest or the old gods doing shadowbinding. They are sacrificing like Craster's kids, and they are recreating. They're basically doing the same thing that Melisandre is, by reanimating human spirits under their control. But that's what the others are. They're shadowbinding done by the children of the forest to get the revenge on humanity.
Oops. Yeah, no, I think that's one of the ones where we can't confirm or deny.
Yeah, but that's at least something.
No, I think that was good. I think
it's better than the first one I did.
Yeah, I know. I think if I was doing it, I would have stuck more to actually talking about the Shadowbinders that we actually know about. But I think because that's the thing. Like, I think that was a good enough theory, but it was just like it's one of those Song of Ice and Fire theories where it doesn't have any connection to like anything that's fucking happened. So you're just like, yeah, maybe, could be. Like literally, like that. It's probably actually the most plausible theory in some sense because it's just like, yeah, it could be.
It's also basically impossible to disprove. I've come up with an unfalsifiable way to bullshit.
Yeah, I think the second round was much better than the first because we just defended more distant theories, which like didn't involve me being like, oh, I mean, Arya Stark is actually 6 years older than she actually is.
Yeah.
So here asks, if you sacrifice a shadow creature, can you get a kid back?
So I think David's probably no, because Sam kills one of them with the obsidian dagger.
The cause of all human births is others getting killed.
Yeah, Mansa's really putting up numbers on the board up there.
Penis plus vagina equals child is a fake theory.
P plus V equals C.
It's false. It's a bullshit theory.
Jesus Christ.
It must have been really fucked up when the first human was like, oh my god, this really fun thing is causing those really annoying things.
Oh god. Were you gonna pull up the
Soon has just turned up to hear me going. Penis versus vagina equals child equals fake. Do you want to do?
Were you gonna pull up the?
So I have the actual theory thing up, but I was going to suggest, do you want to do one more round of fake theories?
Yeah, but I think we should just do one. Like we should just have like the
we
next
have to go
one I try
raw. We have to
defend.
just defend whatever we get. Okay, sure.
All right. Jane Westerling's hips killed Kevin Lannister.
I think mine might be literally true. I think I might have got one of those ones.
All right, let's hear it.
Oh no, okay, it's not. But like it's I think I've got one of the ones which is just like, yeah, it could be. So my theory is the giants built Bone Town.
Okay.
They were trying to prove that penis versus vagina.
Sure.
Bone Town is a probably completely fake city in Essos. One of those ones of There Be Dragon stuff. But is a place where its main trade is in strange old bones found in the nearby dry deep. It's also told that the town is entirely made of bones. Quinn, I don't know about you, but if I was building a house out of bones, I would want the structural bits not to be made from human bones, but from giant bones.
Or whale bones.
But
yeah, giant bones.
Bone Town is in the middle of it's like 1,000 miles from the sea.
Cool.
So the theory is giants built Bone Town, but I'm more taking it in a direction of like giants, like the giants. It's built of giants.
Bone Town is built of giants.
Yeah. The other problem with this theory is that I think this is a very solvable problem. This is the most plausible in theory. The other big problem, you might think, giants are from the very north of Westeros.
Mm-hmm.
Bone Town is 6,000 miles away at the very east of Essos. Of the very east of Essos that's still on the map.
Well, that's where giants still are.
Good theory.
They used to be everywhere before the first men fucked them up.
True. But I would suggest it's an essential part of lots of theories that Essos and Westeros actually meet at the North Pole. Because how else did the others attack the Great Empire of the Dawn and Westeros?
Yeah. Sure.
And so, yeah, the giants just walked over there. That's how they built Bone Town.
That's where Ken Bone lives.
And, if I was making my trade in strange aged bones, I think I would sell them a lot better. I would become the Bone Town if they were giant bones. People love giant bones.
With the other undecided voters.
People love giant bones so fucking much that there's like Facebook groups which are entirely about like posting fake giant bones. They're just like, oh, I found this 6-foot length femur. It means our ancestors were 15 foot tall.
Yeah, there's a whole industry of that. That's like, it's all like evangelicals who are like trying to sell people like fake archaeology. It's a weird rabbit hole, but it's fun to go down.
Bone Town. It's true.
All right. Jane Westerling's hips killed Kevin Lannister. Now,
Kevin Lannister, is he dead?
Yes.
Okay.
Varys kills Kevin Lannister.
Oh, okay. He died. Okay, he died in the series.
Yes. Now, Jane Westerling's hips, speaking of Bone Town,
yeah,
are kind of what got Robb killed. Right?
Yes, that's true.
And so, if Robb wasn't killed, he would have come down and, liberated.
It's Vaz that kills Vase, whatever you fucking call him, that shoots Kevin.
Yeah, he shoots Kevin Lannister after we give him like a monologue. Which I still don't know if we should like believe that or if it's like just George getting lazy about exposition. But
yeah, not very in character for Vaz to just do an evil monologue, even with the dying man.
Like he's about to kill him. Like, why would you do this? Unless Varys' true character is that he's just like sadistic and he wants to get like under this guy's skin before he kills him.
But I think I already know what you're gonna do with the theory, and I think it makes sense. But
That, you know, if not for Jane Westerling's hips, Robb would have come down, joined up with Stannis. They would have taken King's Landing, and Kevin Lannister being off. You know, I think he was just at Casterly Rock for
he was
most
just
of
hanging
this.
out in Lannisport
Like,
or whatever.
The Lannisters that are in King's Landing, not going well for them. But
Yeah.
Kevin Lannister, he would have been okay. He probably would have like been able to, you know, keep. He seems like kind of a chill guy. He would have been able to, you know, make.
He might have
make use of
inherited the
new keys.
Westerlands.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Jane Westerling's hips.
Yeah, Jane Westerling's hips. If not for them, he wouldn't have been Hand of the King. He wouldn't have got shot by Varys. He'd
Right,
still be
because
alive.
Jane Westerling's hips caused the Red Wedding.
Yes, it's entirely her hips' fault. That's
Well,
what
I'm
we're
not
that's-
saying it's her fault.
That's
saying
what
they
we're
are,
going
like,
with on
They're
the
clear.
on
There's
This is
clear
Revolution
causal
and give them an
connective
argument.
tissue there.
The violence exhibited on the, you know, on that poor young couple.
I mean, I'm not saying it's her fault, but rather her hips are part of the causal line which lead to the Red Wedding, and the Red Wedding destroys the Lannisters. Ergo, Jane Westerling's hips and a lot of other things killed Kevin Lannister. Yeah, completely reasonable. I think when we're forced to do one theory, we actually work much harder, or we're just getting warmed up.
Yeah, but I think that I think we got some ones that were like defendable.
Yeah, we got lucky. I mean, yeah, mine was easy. It's like it's ones where it's like some bullshit that no one cares about happens to some bullshit that no one cares about. And you're like, yeah, it could have been.
All right, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
This is a real theory iceberg,
Yeah.
which is readable if you full screen it.
Okay, let's see.
I'm obviously starting us way down. Like this is the top where just things are true or whatever.
Oh yeah. Fuck that. Nuh-uh.
Clegane Bowl will still happen. Definitely fucking not.
No. Clegane Bowl is stupid. Let him, like, you know, live off as the Gravedigger.
Tywin was aware of Joffrey's poisoning and purposely let it happen. Could be.
I mean, he
I don't
wasn't
think
even
he would
in
though.
King's
I think
Landing.
he's too proud.
Yeah. I mean, also,
There's also
like, I don't
there's
know.
a lot of N plus A equals J, which I don't know what the N and the fucking whatever stand for.
I think that's Ned and something else.
Or is that just Ned and Ashara? That one.
Yeah.
But then Ned. Oh, right. I guess the N is always Ned.
Yeah.
What's L plus J equals J? Lyanna plus John equals John. I think I have heard that.
John is his own father.
Yeah,
through
because
time
he's
travel.
time traveling Rhaegar.
Oh, John is time traveling Rhaegar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, idiot.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking dumb. Daenerys is a fire white is not actually that crazy of a theory
That's
to be all the way
literally
down here. Like,
I mean, it's not literally canon, but like,
but no, she is reborn in fire. Like, that's not.
yeah, like it's like we have her POV and it doesn't seem like she dies.
Yeah.
But
Stannis is the Night King is fun. Varys is a bright flame, I think, is actually like not unlikely.
sorry, which one?
Varys is a bright flame.
Oh yeah, could be.
Varys being like either a bright flame or a Blackfire is, I think, probably the most likely source of his
The
energy.
children of the forest can cause earthquakes by human sacrifice. I think the only part, the only like part of that might not be true is I don't know if they need human sacrifice to do it, but it seems like they do everything through blood and like that's how you do
Yeah,
magic.
all of the magic is just blood sacrifice. It's all human sacrifice.
Now, they obviously can do earthquakes, at least rearrange the earth in other ways because they broke the Orb of Dawn.
Yeah.
And
Well, I thought that was I don't know if they did. Well, they did, but I don't think that they did it through an earthquake. I think that they called down a meteor, and a meteor strike broke it.
Really?
Yeah.
But surely a meteor big enough to do that would just destroy the world. But obviously we're talking about magic, so
Jon Snow coming back is fun.
yeah, I love that theory where like just he's dead. Jon Snow
He is
dead.
actually just dead.
He's just dead. A more plausible one that I really like is we won't have another POV chapter from Jon.
Oh, that would be pretty good. I like that.
So we don't know what's up with him. We see him slowly changing and becoming different, but we only get that from other people's POV. And we maybe get one chapter from him at the very end.
The wall protects itself is also just literally true.
Yeah.
Like we see in like I think 2 different POV chapters how the wall like will shed off parts to like knock the people off that are trying to climb up it. Like, that's not a deep cut.
Should I go down a tier?
Sure.
Oh, you were already reading ones from
Preston Jacobs. No, I'm going down to the Preston Jacobs fan. Sorry, that's my bad.
Okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, you've read loads of these. Aegon is the rightful king. Do they mean Fagon?
I think they mean.
I mean, like if Fagon is alive, then he is the rightful king, right?
I mean, he's probably alive.
You think Fagon's Aegon?
I don't think Fagon's Aegon. No, I think Fagon is alive. I don't think Fagon is really Aegon.
Oh right, yeah. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think Fagon's dead. Does anyone think Fagon's dead?
I don't know.
That would be really funny. In the start of Winds of Winter, Ariana gets to Storm's End, and they've taken it, but actually Fagon's just fucking died.
Septa Lamora is Lyanna Stark. I mean, she does have scars from a C-section.
Unifying theory of magic. I guess you've already said that, haven't you? You're like, oh, it's all blood sacrifice.
Oh, did I? Yeah, no, it's all blood. It's all just human sacrifice.
It's all just human sacrifice. Bloodraven has been manipulating everything for hundreds of years. That isn't true, but not in a sense, like not for the sake of trying.
Yeah, I mean, he's been trying.
I think he's been trying to manipulate everything for hundreds of years, but that doesn't mean he actually did.
Yeah. Well, I think that his thing is that he can see everything, or he can see like you can
see every weirwood, right, or something like this.
Yeah, or he can see through like different animals or whatever. How many eyes does Lord Bloodriven have? 1,001.
Though maybe when they're saying Aegon, they mean Jon Snow, because in the next tier, one of the top ones is Aegon is legitimate. And obviously, Fagon, if he was Aegon, is legitimate. Although I guess maybe the theory
these are different theories, but they're saying the same thing.
When Aegon is legitimate, they mean Fagon is Aegon.
Yeah, maybe.
The Hound actually did it to Sansa.
I don't think so.
Definitely not.
I mean, we have seen stuff with Sansa's like her memory is unreliable. Yeah. But
because I think it's essential to the Hound's character that he's like, wait, what the fuck? Am I going to rape a 12-year-old? No, I'm not going to. This shit all sucks. I'm leaving.
Yeah. It's a major plot point for his development. And to have him actually, commit that assault, I think cheapens it.
I think my theory, Sansa will never have sex in the books.
I'm okay with that. She's been through enough.
Well,
let that poor girl fucking rest. Jesus,
we're not. Are we sex negative here at TIR? I guess we're sex negative for 14-year-olds.
Yeah, you know what? I'm happy with that.
We're the only. We're the second anti-pedophile podcast.
Who's the first?
It's the tagline of True and On.
Oh. Nice.
They say we're the only anti-pedophile podcast.
All right, not for long. You're not.
Not for long. Vars framed Cersei for what? For which one?
I mean, I'm guessing it's like the shit that she's on trial for. But
what is she in trial for?
Anyway? Actually, no, because she's on trial for adultery for specifically sleeping with the sellswords that she put on the Kingsguard, the Kettle Blacks.
She didn't do that though, right? Yeah, she didn't do that.
Well, she slept with one of them.
Oh, did she? When?
Or I don't know if she actually did, or she was just like promising it to him. But I thought that when Jamie came
sex with anyone apart from Robert, Jamie, and then doing lesbian rape.
Well, I mean, she does, yeah, but then also she tries sleeping with her little cousin, I think.
Yeah, like she's making moves on him.
Yeah,
but if she's being serious or she's being like a weird drunk aunt, you know.
Yeah, but I thought that when Jamie comes back, he does some like, oh, you're awfully close with the Kettle Black or whatever. But I do actually think that the Kettle Blacks are, at least have been heavily hinted that they're just working for Varys, or Littlefinger, who I think is maybe also working for Varys.
Targaryen and Blackfire alliance theory. I guess this fits in the if for Aegon to be legitimate. Whoa, Kettleblack raped Cersei? It says Flying Snow. Is this like a major plot point I've completely forgotten about? I hear the wiki, boys.
All right, let's see.
Okay, lovers. Oh, right. So lovers, Jaime Lannister, Lancel Lannister, Osney Kettleback, alleged Osmond Kettleback, alleged Osfred Kettleback, and then Lady Tyenna. So she apparently did have sex with Osney.
All right. Yeah, so at least the wiki I'm looking at says that Cersei falsely confesses that she slept with Osmond and Osfred in addition to her true encounters with Osney.
The Queen, Cersei plots to flame Margaery for adultery and treason. Having seduced Osney Kettleback, she has him falsely confess. Ah, right, because this is what she does. She sleeps with one of the Kettlebacks, gets him to confess to the guy, the head of the religious group, saying he actually fucked Marjorie. And then later under torture, he admits that he didn't actually do that.
All right. So that one
all right.
Sense.
All makes sense. And obviously
go down.
Yes.
Septon Reed.
A Song of Ice and Fire is post-apocalyptic. That's still one which is literally canon, even though we're this deep.
Like that's, I mean, just straightforwardly, literally, it is.
Yeah, it's not like that's literally canon in the sense that when we say it's literally canon, which we mean like it's vaguely maybe true. When we mean in this case, no, actually, it is canon.
Like the Doom of Valyria is literally an apocalypse.
Yeah. I wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Doom of Valyria, but I was thinking like the Last Long Night. Like, how's that not?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's many apocalypses.
Rob was given a love potion.
This is specifically that what's her face? Jane Westerling's mom was like she would like prepare love potions for like Tywin or whatever.
Yeah. But the thing of like it doesn't seem necessary.
No.
Because I don't think I think Rob would fold regardless. And he also like had a fever at the time. I mean, to be honest, Rob kind of gets raped. Like, bro is like fucked up and injured and feverish when it happens.
Yeah, I don't know if I would interpret it like that. I think it's more that like he was like doing kind of bad and he was like, you know what, fuck it, I might just die. I might as well have sex. and then he got better, and he's like, wait, shit, fuck. What does an honorable man do? And because he's 16, he's like, oh fuck, I gotta marry her.
I misread one of these. It just says the 7 equals James, Brianna, Sandor, Gendry, Danny, Kat, and Davos. I don't know what the 7 refers to, but I read it is because Gendry's below it. I read it as the 7 genders.
No, those are the 7 gods.
Oh, right.
So each of them embody like one of the aspects, which, like, I guess, sure.
So Brienne is the maid. Kat is the mother. What the fuck is Danny
the
then?
Smith.
Oh, is Brienne not one of the women? She's actually one of the men.
I think Jaime's probably the warrior.
Is the point that Danny's the stranger?
Oh, maybe. And well, is Davos deaf?
Is Davos death? Ned Stark is alive as a pigeon.
Yep. Yeah. No, his skin changes into a pigeon. Canon, like 100%. Let's wrap it up.
You know the pigeon theory, right?
Yes, I know the pigeon theory.
Yeah, obviously. Idiot.
This fucking basic shit. What the fuck? Of course, I know the pigeon theory.
I like that the main basis of the theory is that as he died, like, pigeons flew up, as if pigeons don't just fly up like whenever a loud noise happens. I mean, obviously, the fun part of that is that then Arya, like, a pigeon approaches Arya.
Oh yeah, and she eats
and then
it.
She just fucking murks it, which is very funny. If it was a really confused Ned who's like, "Oh, it's my daughter. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I'm a pigeon now, and I'm gonna go see my daughter." And she just fucking beats me to death with a stick. Tyrion really did poison Joffrey. I don't think that works unless he's like, it's one of those things where you can't make up too much bullshit about POV characters. There's a limit going on there of like, but why didn't he think about that? Because he doesn't know that we can read his thoughts. It's not like they and he's not Ned Stark who just doesn't think about things. Tyrion thinks about stuff a lot.
Yeah. No, I think there's no way.
Equals J.
P plus L
I think that's
equals J.
Brandon and Lyanna. Oh. Benjen and Lyanna.
Oh my god! At a certain point, it gets to a fucking point. What are we doing? What are we doing here, people? Oh, there we go. Tyrion's a Targaryen chimera.
Yeah. I was gonna say your favorites up there. Humans evolved in the Summer Islands, which is one which is like, yeah, maybe, could be plausible, maybe. Impossible to know, never confirmed, never not confirmed. Yeah. I mean, does natural selection exist in the Song of Ice and Fire? All their genetics? Because genetics, certainly human genetics, don't work the way our genetics work.
Well, yeah, not really, but there is some kind of genetics because I think that's how.
Oh, there's like a system of ancestry, but there isn't necessarily genetics, you know.
Well, I think some kind of genetics has to exist because that's how they made dragons.
What you mean from like evolving wyverns or whatever?
Well, I think it's like crossbreeding between wyverns and the bloodworms or the fireworms that eat what's her face.
I don't think they did that through natural selection. I think they did that
not natural
with
selection.
Blood magic. They did that with unnatural selection.
Yeah. Let's see. Man's tried to kill Bran isn't interesting. Valyrians equals the first men. Also,
it's fucking impossible, surely.
I don't think that makes sense, but also not that interesting.
I mean, if it means anything, it means like they had like one common ancestor like 10,000 years ago, which doesn't mean fucking anything, right?
Benjen equals Dario. I think could work. I don't know what it gets us.
Yeah, it's not literally impossible, but it also involves a man like that just looks different to another man being another man, you know?
Well, I mean, I guess you could, grow his hair out and dye it. Mance Rayder is Arthur Dane.
Some of the worst theories out there.
I guess
there is
if
also
Arthur
there's
Dane
another-
secretly became a Night's Watch member first. I guess.
I mean, because like Arthur Dane could have survived the Tower of Joy, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
we don't see him.
Ned Stark just doesn't think about anything. He just doesn't think about stuff, and his only memory of
Maybe
the Tower of Joy that we see is a fever dream. But
yeah, maybe Arthur Dane is chilling with Howland Reed, wherever the fuck he is.
no, just hanging out. That's why Ashara Dane killed herself. Arthur Dane came back with Ned, and she's like, "Fuck this idiot," and chucked herself off a tower. I fucking hate her brother. But the one which I think is literally canon, and by which I mean like probably thematically true or whatever, is Starks are descended from others.
Yeah, or like crossbred with others, but they've got some kind of I honestly I think that might get revealed. My pet theory.
Yeah. That's one that could actually be.
Yeah, my pet theory is that which I think I've heard somewhere. The others are gonna come by and they're gonna be invading they're gonna be like taking Winterfell, and the characters that are alive are gonna have to escape, and they escape down through the crypts. They get past the like the collapsed wall or whatever, and they go through like the very deep parts where the old Starks are kept, and then they realize like, oh shit, there's some big reveal about Stark ancestry that's like actually they're part of the problem.
It'd be really funny if John goes down there to like confirm if he's a Targaryen or not, and we don't find that out, but actually find out the Starks are like fucking others.
Yeah. Or like the whole like there must always be a Stark in Winterfell. Like
is more of a threat.
Yeah.
But it is a funny thing where like there is actually briefly not a Stark in Winterfell, right? For like between when Bran flees.
Yeah. Once Bran's out, there isn't one.
Yeah. Because obviously Arya is there, but she isn't Arya.
That's not Arya, yeah.
That's a fun theory. She actually is Arya. Jane Poole is Arya, and Arya is Jane Poole.
Oh my god. All right. Let's go down to Crackpot. Rhaego was Azor Ahai. Fari civilizations are just references to other works and shouldn't be taken seriously.
So that's not true, but kind of
anti-theory talk, and I don't.
A lot of these at the bottom, I was reading them. They do loop around to being like, some of them are jokes, but but are basically true, Like 7 different people fucking poisoned Joffrey because he was a fucking cunt. I don't think it was 7, but I think they're all plausible theories that it was like 3 people trying to simultaneously poison him.
Yeah. Multiple moon theory.
I think that. I mean, you mentioned it. You mentioned multiple moon theory earlier. I think, unless it was.
No, I mean, I was talking about the multiple like the that's what's causing the seasons.
Yeah.
But
more exciting theory to explain why the seasons are like that. Westeros is actually the inside of a planet.
Oh.
It's like a Dyson sphere, basically.
Yeah.
Like the inside surface of a Dyson sphere, and there's an artificial sun in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there is actually a multiple moon theory that's in the first book, that there were 2 moons and one of them was like cracked open,
right?
By
and dragons
the Evil Emperor, and that's where dragons come from.
Yeah.
So,
is that are we covering like in universe myths theories?
Sure.
That theory filled. The Snark and Gumpkin theory.
Oh fuck.
The grand Snark and Gumpkin theory.
Yeah. The
one
Night's
that's
Watch
really fun on here and may be true. It won't be true, but it
which
very slightly could be true. Robert Strong has Jaime's hand, making him the Valancourt. Because the Valancourt prophecy only specifies the hand. It doesn't say anything else about it.
I mean, fuck it. The guy who's not even really as strong because that house died out. Let him be the one who kills Cersei.
It is really funny. I don't know. Is it Cersei or is it the sorcerer that like makes a really strong guy and is like, I dub you, Mr. Strong.
I think it's
the
Kyber.
wizard. Kyber, right?
Yeah. Night's Watch True Purpose.
Theon
is this the
drowned god? I mean, there are quite a few ones which are like probably true on here, even though we're in Crackpot. Like Azor Ahai equals the Princess Promise equals the Last Year equals the Dragon with Three Heads equals the Star in all that mounts the world. Yeah, I think they're all getting towards the same point. Like they're all like they're all feeding the elephant.
Yeah.
Because we know there's people with genuine magical powers, like what do you call her, Melisandre, who then like have genuine magical powers and have visions of the future and then get them wrong every time.
Yeah.
Like she sees Old Town being attacked by like evil magic and shit from Euron, and she thinks it's Eastwatch by the Sea because there's also towers there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know, the prophecy being a sword with no hilt.
This is one I almost accidentally defended earlier. Val is Jon's twin.
I have actually seen people talk about this that it, you know, there were actually twins.
Oh shit! My theory would be a lot easier if instead of saying Catelyn had twins, I said Lyanna had twins.
Yeah,
I'm stupid. Fuck. That's way easier. If I just say Lyanna had 2 children, one of which was Arya, one of which was Jon Snow.
But Arya had a stunted development, so everyone thinks she's much younger. Yeah. Night's Watch True Purpose. Honestly, I think that the Night's Watch True Purpose thing is that they have been feeding babies to the others, like Craster. Because
so you think Night's Watch purpose is to keep the peace rather than actively defend?
Yeah, at least in this theory. Because like when Jon goes to Mormont and he's like, what's happening with these kids? Mormont's like, yeah, no, I know. We don't talk about it. Now, probably the correct way to read that is that Mormont's like, yeah, he kills off the male line because he's like an evil.
Yeah, I mean, they know it's happening, but just like in the past years, you know, not like
they don't know that he's been sacrificing them to the others. But True Purpose, right? They do. They've been taking, you know, the babies from the town that everyone goes to fuck, or just like, you know, the young members of the Night's Watch. They get sent off through the weirwood door that's in the like it's like 2. I can check which one it is because I've got let me go over to the wall. Yeah, I think it's in the Night Fort is where that like there's like a carved face weirwood door. And that's where they would go to interface.
I think I saw a theory is like that door is actually like a teleportation place.
Sure, fuck it.
The thing like, and truly all the doors that go through the wall have to be teleportation places, but also it should then be impossible to go around by sea or whatever, and it's not. So
yeah,
can't be true. You know my super woke.
I did actually say that cannibal. We both said cannibal is on Skagos. So
yeah,
I mean it's got to be true. If we both think
about the true purpose of the Night's Watch is actually the true purpose of the Night's Watch is the purpose that we were first introduced to, is to keep out the wildlings.
That the wildlings are supposed to be like a sacrificial population to the others.
No. I'm saying that actually the Night's Watch was established like in the past couple thousand years.
Oh, that it literally was like, we're here to fight wildlings,
Yeah.
and we just so happen to be, you know.
So
here to
the
defend
wall
something
was
larger.
obviously not made by them. The wall might be like made by the others to demarcate their kingdom or whatever. But
Mhm.
at some point, it's not just this flip of like the Night's Watch used to be for fighting others, and then they forgot and they started fighting wildlings. Rather, the wall used to have a different purpose, and now the Night's Watch have taken it, used the wall, and they built castles on the other side of it, and they use it, and they've always existed to fight wildlings.
Huh. Interesting. Age of Heroes equals prophecies for what is currently happening. Like, yeah,
Kind of.
that's what the dramatic foreshadowing is.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not prophecies because that's like an out of universe thing. But
no, but it's like a.
why is Jaime and Cersei secret Targaryen this far down? Like, I don't think it's true, but like, it's like a level 3 theory.
Yeah, like there's the whole shit with what is it?
Ares
Aegon
took
and Ares.
liberties with
Yeah. Which I don't think that actually means that
no.
Ares slept with her, because I think that would be like a bigger deal. Like, I think he was just being like a weird perv about the whole thing.
Yeah, and Tywin would have.
Yeah, Tywin would not have.
He wouldn't have done anything immediately, but he would have let that bro die in Duskendale.
Yeah.
He would have had his vengeance, because for that theory to be true, we have to think that Tywin is just completely contrary to how he's otherwise, or he didn't know, I guess, which is especially ridiculous because Tywin takes vengeance, and that's why he gets ruined in the end.
Mm-hmm.
If he'd known, he would have. Obviously, in the end, he kind of takes vengeance on Ares, but he wouldn't have waited that long.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm looking at these last ones. There's some good shit. I mean, Tyrion is the time traveling son of Daenerys and Drogo.
So I think,
frankly, I think it's too high on here, or is too low on here. Like that. That's another one that should be up a little bit. Joffrey and Tommen are the rightful kings. Who knows?
It would be funny.
I think the funniest thing on here is that N plus C equals J.
Oh, Ned plus Catelyn. That's pretty funny, yeah. And she forgot. Well, no, but I literally defended that earlier. I said that Ned and Catelyn, that is Jon Snow is their child. So I accidentally made a full the final understanding theory. So with Joffrey and Tommen, I think a funny idea is, so Cersei basically says, I only had penis plus vagina equals child with Robert once.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the other times he would come drunk to bed and I'd like jerk him off or whatever. I can't remember exactly what she thinks about, but like he never busts inside after that. Cersei thinks that. My theory is, okay, Robert drank a lot and whatever. Do you know who also drinks a lot? Cersei, yeah. So I think it's entirely plausible that Robert and Cersei just had drunk sex sometimes, and one or more of her 3 children could be legitimate Baratheons.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, rightful king is a little bit of a misnomer at this point. Like it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we said earlier, like I said earlier, that George doesn't think there's a rightful king.
Yeah. It is not a thing, and I think that like that's like Robert's rebellion was fucking inevitable after, or I mean, the War of the Five Kings was inevitable after Robert's rebellion, right?
Yeah.
Because as soon as it's not Targaryens, like bickering amongst themselves.
As soon as after the dragons are gone, why should there be 7 kings at all?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. And then on top of that, once you have conclusively proven that you can take it from the Dragon Kings through force of arms,
Yeah.
then like succession smashman,
Yeah.
you know, once Robert's dead, the coalition's not staying together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Euron will become Daenerys.
So one more normal theory is that Euron is another woman.
Oh, the Dusky Woman.
The Dusky Woman. I don't have anything more. Therefore,
so okay, let me see if I can justify this. Euron he's sending out what is it, Victarion with the Dragonbinder horn,
yeah,
which is going to kill Victarion when he blows it, right?
Yeah. Well, obviously, then that gets to a thing of the dragon, if it's bound, is over there, and Euron doesn't want it to be over there. He wants it to be by wherever he is.
Yeah. So the way I think the dragon binding probably works is it like sends a part of the person who blows its like soul into the dragon, and then that person's bloodline is like then recognized by the dragon, able to form a dragon bond. So Victarion is going to go into the dragon, then he's going to fly away and join Euron. If Euron takes all the dragons, then he becomes Daenerys, kind of.
I thought you were going to say that. Okay, that gets to a point of like, okay, the dragon is bound to Victorian's soul. He's going to control it through the Dusky Woman, because there's a connection there between Victorian and the Dusky Woman, obviously. And so Victorian's soul is longing for the Dusky Woman, and through walking into the Dusky Woman, he can control the dragon for now. But his long-term plan is to switch up from Dusky Woman and put his soul.
Oh, that he's going to skin change into Daenerys.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you know anything about the A Song of Ice and Fire original draft?
A little bit.
There was a love triangle between
Jon Snow and Arya, I think, and then
who's the third head of the dragon?
Tyrion.
It is. Sir
that's not happening.
Pounces Azor Ahai. That's obviously false, but another cat in the keep is obviously Balerion and Rhaenyra.
That's a good point.
You've heard those ones, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Planetos.
I do love the Planetos full maps.
Did you see the map I sent you?
Yeah. The one which is like the land is mostly autumn and so on.
God, whoever wrote that one was really, really cooking with gas.
Just checking if there's any fun ones up here before we knock off. Quaithi calls Shira Sea Star. There's a fun one.
Yeah. These ones, like, they could be canon. Jon Snow will be resurrected. Grand Maester Conspiracy, that's literally in the text.
Mormont, Raven was warged. I think that's definitely fucking true. I don't think there's a quick
Yeah, the Raven is not gonna sit there and say Snow. Like
Snow? Jon Snow? Make Jon Snow leader, please.
Yeah, no, that's what Benjen was doing.
Friends in the Reach. No shit. Littlefinger endgame. I think Littlefinger's endgame is he gets fucking his shit blown the fuck out. How do you think Littlefinger goes down? Because obviously he goes down, but how do you think he goes down?
I mean, I hope Sansa kills him.
I feel like obviously like that Sansa causes a death, but like through manipulating Sweet Robin or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Sansa's whole arc is that she's learning to become like a real manipulator and like political player. So
I didn't realize that
her outplaying, like Littlefinger trying to do this like big thing where he's orchestrating all these different lords against each other, and Sansa playing that same game better than him, and it leading to his death, I think is probably what's going to happen. At least that's what I'd like to happen.
One of the theories I hate the most is X is descended from Duncan the Tall just because they're tall. Like I hate that whole.
Oh, like Brienne.
Yeah, like, it's normally Brienne. Sometimes it's Hodor.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's rumors that Old Nan might be a love interest for Dunk.
I think it might be around the right age, right?
Yeah.
So Old Nan is like 90 or whatever, and Dunk would be like 120. But the thing is, the problem there is, Old Nan is not Hodor's mother.
No.
She's like his great grandmother or something. Sam already has the Horn of Winter. Yeah, I think that's true. It's that little fucked up horn he got.
Yeah.
Manly snuck in a mayhaps. What the fuck does that mean?
Dragons are wyverns.
I mean that's the theory that you gave already. That wyverns, they made wyverns into dragons.
Yeah.
But then, like, why is that here? And then some other bullshit is like way further down. Like that might be true, but it's clearly crackpot, right?
Well, or they're just using like the old European like dragons versus wyverns, and the ones in A Song of Ice and Fire are wyverns because they have 2 legs.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have a final a totalizing theory?
A totalizing theory.
Yeah,
it's all blood magic.
Marxism is true in the Song of Ice and Fire world.
I
think that's definitely not true.
Yeah. What? Let me get a dialectical materialist read on. I mean, because fire magic.
Allegedly, I mean, I think that's the thing, because obviously Marx's theory is not like ontologically physicalist or materialist. It doesn't need, like, fire magic can be true and Marxism be true. I think the major obstacle to Marxism being true in A Song of Ice and Fire is that, at least allegedly, they've had feudalism for like 8,000 years. Yeah. And even if that isn't true, they've certainly had feudalism for like a couple thousand years.
Yeah, there's no or the problem is dragons, and dragons kind of break the normal flow of history, right?
Yeah, they, like the interesting thing about dragons is they can give like a small feudal clique, like a really small feudal clique, the power to actually like they would absolutely destroy like Bohemian peasant rebels or whatever.
Yeah, but right, like if they, because like siege technology doesn't really develop if you can just defeat it with a dragon, and if dragons are limited to just this tiny clique, it's still a stretch.
The thing is, in a Game of Thrones CK3, you get permanent like dragon proliferation. They're like nuclear weapons, and there's no tree to stop them.
Yeah,
inevitably, like if it's not some of the family that gets them, it's your dumb fucking cousin, and then it's war, brother.
Yeah, this is why I like playing with the small houses.
Shit, I totally wrecked my CK3 Elder Scrolls game because I changed the settings to lead to more rebellions, like more factions. I turned realm stability off, basically, for playing as the Targaryens, because otherwise it's boring as fuck. And I forgot to change that off when I played Elder Scrolls, and it's just insane. It's horrible. So I think there might not have been a war if Joffrey was like a massive Chad, like if everyone thought he was cool. But then it's also the fact that because Cersei,
but then it's just kicking the
Robert
can down,
raised
right?
Joffrey could have never been a Chad.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't think that Joffrey was born a little shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even like Tommen seems like he came out better.
Yeah, like Tommen seems fine. Obviously, he's only a young child. I mean, Mycela is. There's
She
nothing
seems
wrong
nice.
with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I think that him being the one who was like the firstborn and like raised for the throne by those people.
Yeah,
it's always
and like
pretty
it's not
Joffrey.
really shown in the show or whatever, but Joffrey's described in the first book is like looking exactly like how a prince should.
Yeah,
like
that's why Sansa falls for him is because he looks just like all of the things she read in her stories. I think that's the other. I mean, pulling it back around to the realism. That's where George is not interested in realism. He's interested in talking about fantasy, right? Because he's really interested in inverting those tropes and
I think it's
showing
like
all of
the stories aren't true, but people think they are, and that has power.
Yes, no, 100%.
Damn, shame we only got to that now. That would have been good to think of an hour and a half ago, but such a slide. We'll do it on the next Game of Thrones show.
Oh yeah, we could probably talk about Hot D when it comes out this summer.
Yeah, I would have to actually watch it. I mean, I guess I don't have to watch it. I guess I could just read the book and then read the plot summaries. I haven't actually seen any of the Game of Thrones TV. I tried to watch season 7 and 8 because the thing is I didn't want to watch early Game of Thrones because it was a faithful adaptation, and that's boring for me because I've read the books. I already know what's happened.
Honestly, the adaptation was good. Like there were a couple scenes that just like man, this is really fucking good. It sucks the way it turned out, but Hot D is controversial or whatever. They've
turned it into Toxic Yuri. It's about lesbians now.
Yeah, I mean, because that's not in George's books at all.
I did notice. I was reading a lot of stuff about the Dance of Dragons, and like so many of the women are lesbians. Like like they aren't really
like
in the
fucking Aegon the Conqueror's sisters are much more interested in each other. But the first episode of Hot D is the editing is fucking stellar. It's really good.
I did.
It struggles to keep that quality, but man, it starts out strong.
I watched the first episode. Sorry, I watched the first scene of I think season 2, episode 6, which is the Bracken Blackwoods battle. Oh, not the battle because
the one that just cuts to them all dead.
I really like that.
Yeah, no, I think it was a smart budgetary decision. But also like, frankly, I think seeing a dumb argument and then just cut to hundreds of people dead in a field, conveys it better than like a big budget. Like, Battle of the Bastards works great for a thumbnail. Or maybe it would have if people clicked on the video more. But like,
you made him look too Chinese, bro.
Shit.
I mean, I think I might have liked it a bit. I liked it, but I would maybe liked it a bit more if they'd done a thing where it's like, it shows the argument, and then it cuts, and we see just that group all dead. Then we see another argument between more senior people being like, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you," like around those corpses, and then we show like 2,000 people fucking dead.
So I do think so. I think that would be too funny for the show to do.
Yeah.
I think that they're trying to do like a serious tone. That is the kind of thing that you can expect if you watch the new show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
A night.
I'm just gonna call it Dunkin' Egg. But God, I mean, did you finish it?
I haven't watched it.
Oh shit. Yeah. You should.
I know what happened.
Oh, fucking pirate it.
I mean, the thing is, I just don't watch TV shows by myself, and Fakey13 didn't want to watch it, but I think I'm going to convince him.
Oh,
Also, I think
I'll
maybe
yell at him for you.
I think my I think maybe my uncle is a Game of Thrones fan, so and he doesn't get out a lot, so I might message him and be like, "Do you want to? Could I come round your house and we watch a night?"
Yeah.
I mean,
It's fun.
alternatively, me and you could watch it over like 8 fucking special shows. What are the Jason's things called?
Oh, he does his movie nights.
Movie nights, yeah.
I mean, the episodes are there's 6 episodes and they're 30 minutes.
Oh, they're 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it was 6 episodes. I don't know why I said it there, but I thought they were an hour.
No. They cut it down to 30 minutes, and frankly, thank God, I don't have fucking time. I mean, we spent 2 hours and 40 minutes talking.
Yeah. You could have instead of
book
watching
series.
us. I mean, not very many people did, but they all could have instead just watched Dunk and Egg, the entire thing.
Yeah, probably. All right, I'll talk to Jason about that because that actually does sound fun. I mean, there's like.
All right, so yeah, because I guess also in that context, we could just bang it all out in one night. The thing is, like, I just couldn't do it like here after this.
Yeah,
like even if we did a 1 hour show, I wouldn't want to do 3 hours afterwards. But we can just do it like on another day.
Sure.
Cool.
All right, sounds fun. For the 2 people that are watching still, yeah, it's Red and the Twitter bots.
Are you around next week?
Maybe.
Okay. We'll see.
It depends on how much work I get done in the next week. But yeah, we'll see. I'll let you know.
Bye. Oh wait, I need to do the fucking.
Peace out. Thanks for watching.
I need to put the actual outro on. New outro.
Start eating that trash can.
I already am eating from the trash can all the time.